This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV for Thursday, September 21st, 2023, the autumnal equinox. I am Derek Gilbert. Program note, we will not be here tomorrow. There will be no 5 in 10 for Friday, September 22nd, as Sharon and I are in Albuquerque for the International Symposium on Archaeology and the Bible, a conference we've attended the last 2 years where we learned new discoveries that we couldn't share right away because the information had been embargoed. So we're there doing research for future programs and future disclosures. So again, no 5 in 10 on Friday this week. Topic number 5 today, the F-35 is found. Yesterday's story on the missing F-35 was already outdated by the time you saw it, as that plane was found Monday evening, about 85 miles north of its base in South Carolina. The Pentagon now facing urgent questions on how it could lose an $80 million aircraft. This is the most expensive weapons program in American history. The program costing the American taxpayer $1.7 trillion. That's trillion with a T. So far. The Marine pilot of the F-35B Lightning II took off Sunday from Joint Base Charleston, but an unexplained issue forced him to eject. The plane was flying in tandem with another jet. The pilot of the second plane turned around, returned to base, rather than following the pilotless aircraft. The stealth jet's transponder, for some reason, normally helps track the plane. It was not working for some reason that has not yet been determined. Meanwhile, it emerged on Monday night that back in 2019, the Pentagon was concerned that the plane could be vulnerable to attack by hackers. In the computer age, anything connected to the internet or potentially connected to any kind of computer network is vulnerable to hacking. The F-35 operates on Lockheed Martin's Autonomic Logistics Information System, or ALICE, which watchdogs say can be infiltrated by malware that spoofs the system to stealthily feed it fake news, false information, taking perfectly serviceable aircraft offline. Did this happen? We don't know. The watchdog group called POGO, Project on Government Oversight, released a report in 2019 showing that nearly every software-enabled weapon system released and put into service here in the United States between 2012 and 2017 can be hacked, including the F-35. The agency wrote, despite years of patches and upgrades, the F-35's most combat-crucial computer systems continue to malfunction, including the Autonomic Logistics Information System, ALICE, maintenance and parts ordering network, and data links that display, combine, and exchange target and threat information among fighters and intelligence sources, end quote. This is a problem that has plagued the United States military since 2001, when it was disclosed that many of the friendly fire incidents that took place in the first Gulf War, going back into the 90s, actually, that many of the friendly fire incidents during the first Gulf War took place because computer systems between the various branches of the military, at least then, weren't communicating with one another. Anyway, last September, POGO published another report revealing that Pentagon leaders paused delivery of new F-35s after revealing that a supplier was using a Chinese-made alloy in a component. Now, the plane is so complex and requires so many different parts that this was almost inevitable. You can't get all of the parts from the United States. Now, again, how much of this contributed to the loss of the plane on Sunday night, we don't know. Marine Corps Commandant Eric Smith issued a 2-day stand down for all aviation units, both inside and outside the U.S., which is set to take place at some point during the week. No units allowed to fly until they have a 2-day discussion about safety measures and procedures, this according to ABC News. Moving on, topic number 4, Chicago Socialists. Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson ran for office on a socialist platform. Socialists gaining power inside the Democratic Party here in the United States. They've elected a record number of socialists to Congress. However, Johnson now has one of the largest American cities as his own laboratory for socialist policies. And joining him as allies, the far-left Chicago Teachers Union. Johnson appears to be moving toward a pilot program to launch a chain of state-run grocery stores inside Chicago, city-owned grocery stores, as a solution to a problem there, because rising taxes and crime have led many businesses to just leave the city. Walmart has closed all of its locations inside the city. Other businesses, grocery chains like Walgreens, Aldi, also fleeing the city because you just can't turn a profit when organized retail theft, shoplifting, is essentially legal in Chicago now. But rather than address the underlying conditions causing the businesses to flee, the solution, according to the socialist mayor of Chicago, is to open city-owned grocery chains. Chicago Tribune reported that the start of a feasibility study to open government-run stores is part of his pledge to advance innovative whole-of-government approaches to address inequities, end quote. Government-owned stores are not going to be able to offer lower-cost food items to Chicago residents. They will operate in the red, just as the businesses, privately owned businesses that have fled the city had to do. It's going to supply food at a higher cost and do it hitting the taxpayers of Chicago twice, both on the front end to tax it, to supply, to run the stores, and then the prices people pay at the stores themselves. It is a sad situation for my hometown. Topic number 3, cancel culture in the church. Promise Keepers, which is an organization founded back in 1990 that holds men's rallies in stadiums around the country, has seen several scheduled events at churches and other venues canceled in recent months. In June, most recently, Belmont University, which is a private Christian university in Nashville, canceled a Promise Keepers event after the National Christian Men's Ministry posted a blog criticizing LGBT Pride Month. University accused the organization of unnecessarily fanning the flames of culture wars. I would call it standing. Now, I've not read the blog post, so I don't know the tone of the post, but it is biblically true that from the beginning created he them male and female, and God is pretty clear on the nature of same-sex relationships. That is not to say that we are to hate people who feel a same-sex attraction. We are to love them and welcome them, but sin is sin. Anyway, the event was part of the group's Daring Faith Tour. It's just one of several events canceled during this year by other Christian venues, including Hope Church in Cordova, Tennessee, the Fountain of Praise in Houston. While some have cited concerns about offending people with biblical truth, Promise Keeper CEO Ken Harrison said others were less clear in their reasons. Said the cancellations were disheartening, given that they came not from secular groups, which you'd kind of expect, but coming from within the church itself. Topic number 2, speaking of the culture war, guess who is funding Joe Biden's army of TikTok influencers? You guessed it, billionaire George Soros. New York Post reports that Soros' Open Society Foundation shelled out $5.5 million to a nonprofit called Accelerate Action Incorporated in 2020 and 2021, which then in turn gave $300,000 to another nonprofit, Gen Z for Change, which is a network of 500 activists, organizers, and creators. This is according to tax filings. The woke foot soldiers regularly go into battle online with videos on behalf of abolishing border enforcement, defunding the police, and ending cash bail. Which, by the way, something else that just happened in Chicago and across the entire state of Illinois this week. Anyway, last March, top White House officials actually invited Gen Z for Change to the White House to brief them on U.S. efforts in Ukraine. Remember, Ukraine invaded by Russia last February. And so the White House brings Gen Z TikTok influencers to the White House to brief them on the situation. So ridiculous that Saturday Night Live even did a cold open, a sketch mocking the briefing. When you lose Saturday Night Live as a Democrat, you've really gone way beyond the pale. In recognition of their contributions, Gen Z for Change also invited to the White House for the signing of the Inflation Reduction Act, another piece of legislation that proves when you want to know what a bill does, assume it's the reverse of the title. About 2/3 of Accelerate Action's $8.3 million budget for 2020 and 2021 came from Soros. This is how you fundamentally transform society. Coming up, Orwell meets your stuffy nose. That's next on 5 and 10.
We want to make sure that you know how you can get your copy of this incredible, one-of-a-kind Bible with expanded Apocrypha in the Last Chance Defender Bible package. Right now, while supplies last, we're offering this giant limited edition Defender Family Bible for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling. But if that wasn't enough, we're also including the Defender Publishing's 120 ebook collection absolutely free. Now, this data DVD library collection includes 120 of Defender's all-time best-selling books featuring authors like Dr. Thomas Horn, Derek Gilbert, Carl Gallups, Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, Sharon Gilbert, Allie Henson, Donna Howell, Terry James, the late, great Michael Heiser, and so many more, too many to number. This DVD library also includes the limited edition Defender Bible with expanded Apocrypha, and all of these books in this collection come in popular ebook formats so you can read them on EPUB, PDF, Kindle, and other handheld electronic devices. It's devices of your choosing wherever you go, including the Bible that we're talking about today. These items hold a retail value of $1,400 if you had to buy all of these ebooks separately. Yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling, so don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special offer. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the last chance Defender Bible package right now.
This would make a really, really amazing Christmas gift too for all of the people in your life that love to do research, or your pastor. So buy it now and save it and give it to them for Christmas.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Just stash it somewhere.
Yeah.
Item number 1 today, get the government out of my sinuses. According to NPR, story last week at National Public Radio, quote, experts have long doubted the effectiveness of phenylephrine, end quote. In case you're not an allergy sufferer like yours truly, you may not know that phenylephrine is the active ingredient in Dayquil, NyQuil, Sudafed, Mucinex, many other over-the-counter medications that purport to deal with nasal congestion. If you are like me and you've had to fight this all your life, you know from experience that phenylephrine does nothing. Well, NPR now saying that experts have long doubted its effectiveness is like Orwell saying, oh yes, we've always been at war with East Asia. Because this is not what we were hearing 15, 16 years ago. 16 years after the Food and Drug Administration forced the actually effective product behind the shelves where you have to ask permission and show your driver's license to get it, pseudoephedrine. Now they're telling us the replacement phenylephrine, oh, we've always known it didn't work. Really? I've finally given up on trying to get pseudoephedrine. I just use a spray decongestant when I need it because it's just not worth the hassle. Not worth the hassle. They limit you as to how much you can buy because they're afraid you're going to take the pseudoephedrine and turn it into methamphetamine. I don't know that there's ever been an actual case brought against anyone who was buying boxes of Sudafed, the old formula, and then turning it into meth, but whatever. It turns out that the actual reason, according to an investigative journalist who looked, was that the old ingredient, pseudoephedrine, was out of patent, and it was being manufactured for pennies. Phenylephrine was a new product made by Boehringer Ingelheim Corporation, a German company that back during the George W. Bush administration was donating mainly to Republicans. Well, pseudoephedrine went behind the counter. You had to give up your ID, and they replaced it with a drug made by a company donating to Republicans that now they admit does nothing. So what's next? Are we going to go back to the actual effective drug pseudoephedrine? Or will there be a period in which there's a scramble for a new drug that can be licensed, patented, and profits made by a company that donates to whoever gets it through the FDA? I think that last one. Bottom line again is get the government out of my sinus cavities. During the month of September, our thank you for your gift of any amount here at Skywatch TV, if you're in the U.S. or Canada, is David Hebner's book, True Power. The true power, of course, is the power of the Holy Spirit. Add this to your reference library. You determine the cost. There is no minimum for your donation. For your gift of any amount, if you're in the U.S. or Canada, just to keep the shipping costs down, we'll send you a copy of the book. You can find out more at our website, skywatchtv.com. Look for the red donate button or give us a call toll-free, 844-750-4985. This week on Skywatch TV, we're talking about the Nephilim and what we can learn about their origins from the Apocrypha, the pseudepigrapha, like the book of 1st Enoch. We've got it available in the Skywatch TV Researcher's Library of Ancient Texts, and a special offer on that this week. This is the program. Tom Horn, Donna Howell joining the panel this week. Joe Horn moderating the roundtable discussion. You can find a broadcast schedule for Skywatch TV for the over-the-air program at skywatchtv.com/channels, but you can also watch the over-the-air program over the interwebs. Several ways to do that. Get our Roku or Apple TV channel, add that to your set-top box. You can go to the YouTube channel for the main program, youtube.com @Skywatch TV Now, rumble.com @Skywatch TV, or better yet, download our free app. The Skywatch TV app features all of our video content, these daily news updates, the women's program, Simply His, and of course the main broadcast program, plus an audio Bible with multiple translations, calendar of upcoming events, news updates 3 times a week, news the mainstream media prefers you miss, all of that in the palm of your hands, whether it's iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire, and we have links to their app stores at skywatchtv.com. Again, remember, No's 5 and 10 tomorrow as Sharon and I are in Albuquerque for the International Symposium on Archaeology and the Bible. We will be back on Monday. And until then, have a blessed weekend. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.